of the Graduate Student Association. We have a bunch of information to get through, so I'm going to go ahead and just quickly remind you to, if you're representing your department, especially, but even if you're not, go ahead and record your attendance. So we have a file of who's here and who didn't come. Okay, so this is the quick agenda that you all should have probably gotten from Ashley, where we're going to be agenda overview, welcome message from our president. We have 4 guest speakers, so there's a lot of information to get through. So and then we're going to go over committee reports very quickly, and then we're going to adjourn. I'm going to pass it over to Alex.
It's a pesky defaults. Okay. Hello. This is a friendly reminder to please talk to your departments. GSA can only work well when we talk to other graduate students. I don't think anyone knows how much we depend on the senators to kind of filter information. And there's a lot happening across the university. We would definitely like more input, but we will continue to do so. We know everyone has a busy schedule. GSA elections are going to happen again. It's been a year. So in 2 weeks, we will send out information for nominations. So there'll be a 2-week at the end of February period where we'll accept nominations. Make sure you actually might nominate. We'll corroborate that, and then in our March meeting, we'll have all the candidates speak within another 2 period of voting. And then in the April meeting, we will conduct the report. But if you have any questions, come talk to us. If you have questions about the positions, reach out to us. We'll try to stay after, but you know, you're free to email us. Please contact us. And then let's see. But I don't know if anyone noticed, but we started Black History Month. Yesterday was a very important anniversary, 63rd anniversary. I won't tell you what's the anniversary. I'll put that on you to look it up, but it's important between Greensboro and the Civil Rights Movement. So let that be your key. Yes. It's a little homework for everyone to kind of like honor the month. Okay. 63rd. Yeah.
I thought you were looking for an answer.
Oh no, I know some. I know some people know the answer, but I'm hoping the curiosity bug will guide us. We'll look up that information because it's an important part of NCG, NCA, and North Carolina history. So with that, bit of curiosity, I will pass it along. So Dean Bell and Mayor, if you want to do that. Okay, so if y'all are ready. Oh,
There is a mic.
oh,
Yeah,
right here.
so
So speak into this.
yeah, because there are people on Zoom.
Yeah.
So
Over here. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to those of you who are here. Good afternoon, Zoom land. I don't know where they came from.
oh yeah, it's that one right there.
Okay. Well, I see that I've got 15 minutes. But I also see that you have a huge agenda, so I will try to be as quick as possible. I'm here today with Mary Early, who is the director of Enrolled Student Services in the graduate school. So she is basically the graduate school registrar in many ways. In function, yeah, but she also just knows everything about everything. And so we're going to talk just about a few of the things that we're seeing and that we want to help spread. We want to. We would love for you all to help spread the word about trying to get ahead of some of the challenges that we're seeing in the graduate school. But before we get to that, I have a couple of things that I just want to update you on and let you know about and get some feedback. And you can either share feedback with me, you can share feedback with the officers. Alexander and I meet Tuesday. So if you got feedback for him before then we can chat about it then. The first thing is the university is changing the way that graduation ceremonies work for graduate students and undergraduate students. And so from this May onwards, there will be a graduate student commencement and there will be an undergraduate student commencement. And so, how many students do we have graduating or applied to graduate? 900 and something master's, doctoral students and certificate students. So it's going to be a big ceremony, and it's going to take place at the Coliseum complex. So there'll be a hooding ceremony. The hooding will be part of it for the doctoral students, and all of the master students will have their names called and cross the stage. But we're still trying to work with the chancellor on what this is going to look like, because it's going to be the first time that we're doing it. And so the chancellor's office wanted feedback from you all about the speaker for this event. With 900 credentials, so it's fewer students than that. And then of course the students who walk are going to be fewer than that, but it's going to be a long ceremony already. And so there are a couple of things that we're thinking. So in particular, I'd like feedback on what you would think about having alumni speakers. So speakers who have graduated from a graduate program at UNCG, gone on to do great things, bringing them back to hear from them. Or a current student, a graduating graduate student, hearing from them, or both, right? So one or other or both. And if you have suggestions for what that would look like, we'd love to hear it. I'm not saying that that will determine exactly what happens. There's lots and lots of moving parts. But just wanted to know what you all thought about it. So you don't have to say anything now. If you want to send me an email, you want to tell Alexandra, you want to talk about it with your department, see what it's looking like. I think there are pros to all of those different scenarios. So that's number one. And if there are any questions, I'm happy to.
Online.
Okay.
One question was how many tickets are allotted to each grad student for graduation? If you have all.
With that many, it's probably, I don't know.
I was just thinking four, but
Four.
not too public because they're still tallying.
That preliminary number 900 plus is going to decrease a little bit, but
And then they'll tweak it based on the number of RSVPs that come in, and typically have done because doctoral hooding has been ticketed for a while, a couple of times now, 2 or 3 times. So they'll wait list as well for people who want more, if they can open up to the wait list. So there's a little bit of flexibility, but the general answer as of today is.
The other question was, so this goes into effect this spring, or okay,
Yeah.
and then will those be separate days, like the undergraduate commencement and the graduate? Okay, but it'll be like at the end of the term.
right. So the graduate ceremony is on the Thursday, is that
Thursday
right? And then, and then the graduation or the undergraduate commencement will be the next day.
Okay.
Okay, so the other two things that I just wanted to bring are sort of informational items, things that I've learned recently, and I thought that I would love to share them. One, yesterday in Faculty Senate, we saw a really great presentation by Dr. Jennifer Whitney. So I had actually heard a presentation from her earlier in the day about our students in crisis and how we can help students in crisis. And so I got a 1-pager from her that I brought along with me. I realized that there's no way to display this. I thought there might be a doc cam or something. Hey, this is it, but it's okay. I'll email it to you all so that you can share it. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention because I know that as graduate students, you will often occupy 2 roles, more than 2 roles, but you're often, obviously you are students yourselves, but you're also instructors in a lot of ways, either instructors or mentors or tutors or whatever. And so so you often have very strong connections with undergraduate students here, and undergraduate students may come to you in crisis. And so I want to make sure that you all are equipped to help them the best way possible. So if you haven't done the QPR training, I highly recommend it. It doesn't take very long, and at least for me, it imbued me with the confidence to help students have ideations of harming themselves or something like that. So anyway, I will leave this stuff with you. I wanted to bring that to your attention. It was just a great presentation, or a great pair of presentations from her yesterday. The other thing that I wanted to share is that I have been researching, hearing from you all, I've been researching some different options for health insurance. So student health insurance plan is what a lot of graduate students opt for their health insurance needs. But I've been in touch with the program manager over in student health insurance, Shelley Queen, and I've gotten a lot of information from her. And I also got an offer from her to meet with students either in groups or on Zoom to talk about the different options. Because I think that there's a lot of options out there, and some options are better for some students than others. So just wanted to share those bits of information. I see that there's stuff in the chat. I don't know. Yeah.
I was gonna say, does that include the online students?
That's a good question for Shelley. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't in the material that she sent me.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't see it here.
Yeah.
It's a good question. Yeah, but I do want to, I kind of want to connect you all so that you can have those conversations. Shelley Queen, and I'll send this to you all as well.
Okay.
This is like hot off the press. So what, are there other questions in the chat?
No, someone just made a recommendation about the mental health first aid. Is another program.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna ask you to, the QPR, it's question, persuade, refer.
That's right.
It's a really great program as well as the mental health first aid. Those are both really, like, a really good place to start.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
But the real reason that we're here, and I hope we're not already out of time, is to talk about other things, mostly communication and, talking to us in the graduate school early. If there's any, if you encounter any challenges or you foresee any problems, I guess one of the things that we will see is that when students encounter a challenge or something, they'll have to focus on that challenge, and instead of communicating with us, they'll get themselves they'll paint themselves into a corner in some sense. So, for example, if something were to happen and you just had to stop attending classes altogether, if you let us know that you're stopping attending classes, then we can begin to do something to help you. If you wait, a semester or two and then say, back in spring of 2023, I had this thing going on and I had to stop attending classes, it's a lot harder to fix the problem then. I don't know. I'm not doing a very good job of segueing into what we wanted to talk about, but yeah, please do. And here's the mic.
We'll get closer.
Oh, no.
Somebody was already talking about singing and dancing, no singing and dancing up here. So I'm Mary Early. Nice to see all of you. So like Greg said, it's just a message that we're trying to get out to students. And I hope said that you'll go back to your departments and share this because it's so important. We see, unfortunately, what happens when students don't come to us. And I'm afraid that a lot of times students don't realize that the graduate school is a resource. And we are there to answer questions, to guide you, to offer solutions, to problem solve. It's our goal to help you accomplish this goal, your goal. And so in order to do that, we're there for you when those difficult times come up. So like Greg was saying, if something happens, and sadly we've seen these scenarios, maybe in somebody's life, it's a health crisis or a death in the family or something else happens in their lives and it interrupts the cycle of the semester and they just kind of disappear on us. Unfortunately, we don't know about that. And so if they don't reach out. And so what tends to happen is grades will get posted as Fs. The student might get put on probation and or dismissed right out of the gate. And we don't even know what's happened Sometimes that will get their attention and they'll reach out and there's something that we can do at that point. But most of the time, if we can handle it during the same semester, we have more options, better options, better options for you. So we're trying to get the word out to our students that, the graduate school is there as a resource and we're there to help. And please reach out to us. Just 2 minutes to pop out an email or make a phone call and say, hey, this happened. Can you help me? We got it. We've gone to all
he left.
try to do that. So
I saw his car.
just reach out. And unfortunately, we've had scenarios where something happened in a student's world in one semester and, 2 years later, they were ready. That's okay. I was like, first I thought, is that a question? No, you're talking. Okay. So anyway, just wanted to pass that information along so that you'll know, there we go.
Okay.
So that you'll know that we're there for you. And I hope that you'll tell your peers in your programs. The other thing is, I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm glad to come talk to groups of students. So if you have, if you're in a program that has meetings on, every third Friday or whatever it is, and you get some guest speakers from time to time or whatever, or you just have a group of students that meets in your program, I'm glad to come talk and not just talk at you, but work with you. If you've got doctoral students who are working on their plan of study or thinking about admission to candidacy and ABD status or full-time status exception, or you have questions about those things, I'm glad to answer them. I live in policy land, so that stuff is just right there all the time. And so I'd like sitting down or talking with individuals who are trying to figure out, okay, how do I make this work for me? So I'm glad to do that. Just reach out, let me know, you can email me. I'm easily findable.
Is there an official process for withdrawal, or is it like sort of a case by case basis? Like what happens after you send that email?
So it kind of depends.
Yeah.
On the individual situation. Sometimes we've had scenarios where the student registered for the semester, but something happened before the semester even started, but they didn't drop their registration. Now they're getting a bill. Now somebody's turning them over to the credit bureau or whatever. They've got these things going on, and then they reach out. Well, if we can ascertain and verify with the faculty that they never attended, participated in that class at all, we can remove that entirely from their record. So we can do that. We get scenarios sometimes where a student, perhaps they had a health issue pop up and they needed to drop the course, but because they were dealing with all of those things, they didn't drop the course until maybe November the 1st, but they stopped attending the class the 1st of September. Okay, we can go in, verify with the instructor and adjust the drop date, the withdrawal date, which could in turn impact their refund. So there are all kinds of things we can do. We also have a retroactive withdrawal policy for up to a year after a semester ends. We can help students late register. At least I hope you know, that the last day to drop without academic penalty is on the academic calendar. And what that means is that you can go into Genie and drop yourself from a course and receive a grade of W for that course, but it's just a W. After that date, it's a WF if you go into Genie and drop yourself from that course. So if you don't want that on your record and you're passing the course, but maybe this is too much for me to handle right now, I need to let this go, but I've got a good grade, our office can manually process that for you. We work with the faculty, make sure you're passing the course because that's part of the requirement of a late drop. If you're passing the course, then we can get that so that it's not a WF, it's just a W. So there are all kinds of things that we might be able to do based on the individual situation and what we're able to find out about it and the timing that we hear from them. Does that answer? Very good. Anybody else?
I have a question. Is there any type of referral form or is it just informal, send an email?
It's just informal. Just send an email. We have a chat. We have, the telephones. You can reach us that way. You can send an email. We have general email addresses as well as you can find a specific staff member. If you don't know anybody else and you forget my name, if you remember the admissions specialist who emailed you when you started your program and you've still got that in your email, that person can get you to me. So one way or the other, you can get to us. But yeah, no forms required till later. Anything else?
But email is good too, because it creates a record, you know, okay, oh, you did contact us
It
on this day, here it is, you know, everyone can see it.
That's right. And we can put the pieces together
Yeah,
with the trail.
because if we wait too long, then sometimes our options become limited, like retroactive withdrawal is not as flexible as withdrawing during the
That's
semester.
That's right. It's not as flexible because you have to leave every course and it's time limited. So, it depends on, what happens and when and how quickly you, the student, reach out. So. Anything else?
So just make the initial contact, that's like what's most important.
Yes.
Just, like,
Yes.
as soon as possible.
Yes, absolutely. And I will say, and I know I feel this way sometimes, so I understand, but I think sometimes students are afraid that they'll send an email and it just goes out into the never land and they're not going to hear from somebody. That is not true in our staff. There are 3 of us who work specifically with enrolled students. We just got our 3rd one back on board. We were shorthanded there for a while. We got our 3rd one back on board. So there are 3 of us who work specifically with students. And so we try to respond very quickly, typically the same day. If not the same day, it's usually 24 hours. And even then, we're probably investigating something from your email. So if there's a little bit of a time lag, it's because we're checking on something. So we are very quick to respond. You're not sending an email out into Neverland. There are real humans who are gonna get back with you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Awesome, thanks so much. Thanks so much, Dean Bell and Mary. Okay. They're both from the graduate school. I'm gonna introduce Dr. Megan Walters next, who is the Associate Director of Career Development. So she's gonna give us some information about what sort of opportunities that we have as graduate students, including things coming up this semester. So I'll pass it over to Megan.
Thanks so much, y'all. How are you doing?
Wow.
Oh, good. We're so good. Terry and I have seen each other 3 times this week, which makes in the lucky winner. My name is Megan. I work in career and professional development. Does anyone in this space, maybe besides Terry, know where that is? Tell us. Oh, did everyone hear that? Next to Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is next to us.
Proximity as the.
You can see them both at the same time. Yes, yes, absolutely. How many of you, your undergraduate degree is from a different institution? Okay, so can you just share what, if you remember, if you know, if you took advantage of it, what could you do at your career center, at your undergrad?
Resume development.
Resume development, headshots, yes. It's not working, it's not. Hello.
I'm saying online thing, yeah. It's not muted. You guys hear us now?
Yeah, it's great.
You guys really, I just gotta.
I'll stand so close. Okay, so at your career centers, resume development, headshots, what else could you do?
Mock interviews.
Ooh, mock interviews. Anything else you need to?
Red suits, I think.
Oh, yeah. Some career centers have like a professional clothing closet available. We're working on one right now. We'll have some blazers available for our career fair in a few weeks. So yeah, that's awesome. A lot of those same things that you might remember from your undergraduate career center are true of ours as well. And what I want you to know above anything else is that as a former graduate student, I understand well that you all are studying something very specific and you have nearly expert knowledge in a discipline that you are probably guessing that people in my office do not have near expert knowledge about, right? I don't know anything about biology. I am not skilled in finance. I cannot use Excel on the regular, but I am an expert in helping you find, apply for, and land jobs. So our expertise together is going to get you exactly where you want to go. And so I want you to know that it can be difficult to trust someone who doesn't understand your discipline with something as important as a job search. We take it as seriously as you do, I promise. So we will work together to make this work. So when you are in the Elliott University Center and you see that career development space, there is a sticker on the door that says graduate students are welcome here. And we are very specific about that. And if you look hard enough, you'll see pictures and mentions of us on the graduate school website. We have a really great relationship together, and you can take their trust in us as a vote of confidence of what we can do for you. So know that to begin with. All of our work, the work we do in our office is guided by best practices across industries. And our professional association in career development is the National Association of Colleges and Employers. And every year, those the employers that are connected to our professional association are surveyed and asked, what are you looking for out of employees? Across industries, there are 8 competency areas that nearly every employer is looking for, and they're all the ones that you think they are. Teamwork, communication, leadership, a mastery of what a career trajectory could look like for them. So we use that as a foundation for a lot of the work that we do. And we use that to help you tell your story on your CV, in your cover letter, when you're doing presentations, et cetera. So that's where our professional foundation comes from. And we're excited to work with you. I want to share a couple of things that we have done with graduate students before that might be of interest to you. And I'll say, just like Mary shared, if you want someone from our team to come and spend time with you, we can come to your program meetings, we can come to specific classes, we can spend more time with the GSA. One thing I love to do with groups of graduate students is programs around preparing teaching statements, research statements, equity, diversity, and inclusion statements, particularly those of you who are applying for faculty roles. So we spend a lot of time helping support those documents, so we can do that in group or one-on-one. A lot of you as graduate students will take advantage of resources that we have that are completely virtual. So you may never come in, and that's okay, but we have a platform called Big Interview that you can use to prepare for interviews, in-person and virtual interviews. It's a great platform where you can practice, record yourself answering questions, watch yourself back. It's the scariest thing you'll do, but you can delete that video immediately once you learn what you needed to learn from it. You don't have to share it with anyone if you don't want to. We also use a platform called Handshake. It's our career management platform. You've likely heard of that, or you've gotten an email on behalf of Handshake. It is career central. It is a place where you can look for opportunities, jobs, internships, practica, postdoc appointments. There are faculty roles posted in Handshake. So it is a legitimate job hub for all of you. It is also the place where you can go to schedule an appointment with a career coach. So if you want to work one-on-one with someone from my team, you can sit down with us for 30 to 60 minutes and talk about your situations specifically. We also have a number of career fairs every year. The next one is scheduled for the 21st of February. And I have brought with me a list of all of the employers who are registered, and I've highlighted those who said they're specifically interested in graduate students. So that will be helpful to you all. I've got the hard copies here, and I can email a digital copy to anyone who's joining us online.
I was saying I can as well. I was planning on it.
Okay, perfect. I'll make sure you have the most up-to-date one and you can send out, but you can take any hard copy that you'd like. And then every fall, we are one of 6 institutions in North Carolina that host together a consortium graduate student career fair. It happens every November. Typically, it happens in Chapel Hill. Sometimes we're struggling with whether it'll be in person or virtual forevermore. So, but it happens every November, and we are joined by Duke, Carolina, NC State, Wake Forest, and UNC Charlotte to put that fair on. And employers come from around the country and beyond to recruit specifically master's and doctoral students. So we are working on your behalf all the time. And I think it's really important for you to know that there's a little team of minions working behind the scenes that maybe you don't even see or know about. But the better you look, the better success you have after graduation, the better we look. So I can't overstate how invested we are in your success. So whatever it is that you're looking for next, we really do want to help you get there. Do y'all have any questions about what we offer, what you can use this for? Yes.
When in your program should you approach career services?
I like to say early and often. It's never too soon to build a relationship with our team, but it is always the right day to start. So even if you're sitting here and you are approaching graduation, now's the right time. I would say anytime an employer is on campus that you are moderately interested in, take advantage of that. The more familiar and comfortable you can get with having those conversations and being, in a space that has the career vibe, the better off you are when you have to make, serious decisions and have serious conversations. If you're thinking, well, I'm not ready to come in because I don't know what I would talk about, that's perfect. You can say, I want to come in, but I don't know what to talk about. And we will help lead the way, right? We have questions that we'll ask that'll get us to the conversations we need to have. So it's always the right time. You can work on your resume or your CV anytime, no matter how far away your job search is. What else? Anything else I can tell you?
Do you have separate services for masters and PhD students differently, or basically or same issues altogether?
Yeah, anything that you are dealing with that has to do with job or career, we will, connect with you. We'll do it individually. So every appointment is about you specifically, right? We might have guiding questions that'll that can help across all career levels, education levels. Our goal is to give you exactly what you need at whatever time it is that you need it. When you go into Handshake or you call our office to create an appointment, we have several different appointment categories. So you can, some of them are more broad, like exploring jobs and careers, where maybe you're having a little bit more discussion about, I'm not sure exactly what I want to do, but we also have appointments that are dedicated specifically to a CV. So you will find a category that works for what you're interested in.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Or is there like a maximum amount of times that people come?
No, there's no maximum. We'll just put your name on an office if we need to. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The more you connect with us, the more we know you, the more likely it is that, an employer will contact us and have a job they're looking to post. And I'll remember, this is exactly what Amanda's looking for. And we want to do that. That's like the best case scenario. So build relationships with us for sure.
Quick question. There used to be modules on Canvas for professional, like industry and academic track graduate programs. I I know those are, I call it stagnant, but is there any need for to kind of revise those as like a supplement besides your office?
That's a really good question. Was that like graduate school content for PFF and PFL maybe? Yeah? That's a great question.
I know I'm aging myself by.
Well, me too.
I
Is-
thought those were good resources for
Yeah.
graduate students.
Yeah, they are.
I think they would be helpful, but
I'll connect with Dr. Bell. The Career Center has a Canvas page and we could very easily add that content or content like that to our page if and we'll connect after too about where we stand with that. But great question. And I agree. Yeah.
Megan, I think that content is still out on Canvas, but it needs to be
yeah,
updated.
that was the.
Okay.
Hasn't been a role to do that. So if you could connect.
Yeah.
Dr. Bell, that would be great.
Sounds good. We'll do it. Success. Yeah.
The. But there's a faculty one that's still running.
Okay.
Do you know?
PFF?
PFF still running?
It's what?
There's a PFL and a PFF.
Is the program running?
No longer, right?
Official.
But the PFF is still being run.
I don't think either one of them are officially being run
They
anymore.
exist.
But the product is still
Yes.
available in Canvas.
Yeah.
So.
I wasn't sure under whose house it was.
Yes. Yeah.
There now.
Yeah, we've done some of the programs together in the past, right? So it makes a lot of sense that the question is coming up now because a lot of the content is, we have a lot of overlaps in that. Yeah.
Revival of that would be really good.
Yeah.
We support it.
Yeah. I'm with you. I can see some chatting in the, but it's nothing, right? Perfect. Okay. I thank you all so very much. Good luck. Yeah.
I know.
Also, thank you, Kathleen Walters. And we have one more guest speaker. That's Laura Drew with the, Laura's also part of the graduate school. You've probably heard from her, but she's the program coordinator. She's just going to give you some more updates on opportunities available to you as graduate students.
Hello, how's everyone today? I'm cold, so I kept my jacket on. It's chilly. So I work with all of our professional development programs and I work with like our writing boot camps, our 3-minute thesis, our showcase. Showcase is coming up April 4th. The registration deadline is February 15th. And so showcase is a poster competition. We're giving away over $6,000 in awards this year. So, it's just a way for you to showcase what you're doing, what in creative research. And it's judged by local kind of high-end level judges. So it's a great opportunity for you to get your work out there in front of people. I always say, like, if someone can come to showcase and walk away with a partner in the community, I think that would be my goal. Like Megan left. She left us. So because I love Megan too, and she's always great at working with us. The other thing, we are also working with Megan on, so leading up to her career fair, we are hosting a career and professional development workshop, which will be February 17th from 2 to 3. So the link to it's just a register just to say like, I'm coming, that we kind of have a sense of how many people are coming, but we're working with our Minerva scholars to kind of put this program together. And Megan's gonna be there to talk about what you need to do to prepare for the career fair, and whether it's preparing for that career fair or your own career search. So it's really just, a resource and tools for that search or for that event. But we also do, so I work with a lot of our students doing writing boot camps, and we typically host those after graduation. So we usually we'll do one at the end of May, and we'll also do one, We usually try and do some at like the Christmas break. Usually right now, we've been doing them like right before Christmas. And then we do it like right when the students come back. So right in that early January, kind of before classes start, that type of thing. And these writing boot camps typically are 3 days of us getting together either in person or virtually and working and writing together. I often have to bring in faculty consultants to work with the students as far as, you know, struggling with this and how do I do that? So Kathy Hinton is one of our I call our star faculty people that comes. She has been on over like 30 dissertation, like chaired over 30 dissertation committees. She's probably, I think she mentors about 16 students each year. She's phenomenal. And the thing I love about her is she tells you like it is. She doesn't sugarcoat it. She just tells you, gives you an honest, responsive answer. And, you know, and the thing that's important for you when you go to these boot camps and when you talk to these mentors is, you know, they'll tell you things maybe different than what your faculty mentor will tell you. But what you need to do is, how do I filter that? And how do I take that information? You know, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So you come to, I mean, I go to the boot camps and I learn things from all the students all the time. So it's also just a learning resource too. And, you know, someone will say like, well, my faculty mentor does this or that. And she'll be like, no, they need to be responding to you. Like that's their job, you know? And it's like, oh, I didn't know that. And as a student, sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. So it's just a place to kind of ask questions too. But so she works with, you know, assisting, like we work a lot with literature reviews, crafting proposals, outlining dissertations, thesis. And, you know, our writing boot camps were really kind of just in the past more for just when you're writing. I always say, if you're working on a conference paper, if you're doing whatever it's taking you to get to graduation, bring it to boot camp. Because our job is to get you to graduation. And so my goal is, and my thing, and when we're writing in boot camps or we're writing in peer writing groups, and actually we're kind of changing we also have what we call peer writing support groups, but we're changing it to peer working support groups because we're like, if you're bringing your calculus, if you're bringing your homework, if you're bringing, again, it's just the concept of the peer writing support groups, the peer working support groups is it's 3 hours a week working with the group that meets regularly for 3 hours, like on a Monday. I think right now we have Monday from 10 to 1, Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., Friday 10 to 1, and Saturday 9 to noon. And the concept is, you know, to have a core group of people that you meet with and you're kind of just being accountable to. And kind of saying, okay, we're working. And so they check in the morning and they check in at the beginning to kind of say, this is what I'm working on. These are my goals. They kind of, if they're virtual, they turn their cameras off, they turn their mute on. And then at the end of the 3 hours, they kind of check back in and say, hey, you know, how'd you accomplish? What'd you get done? And, you know, they bring up questions. And so it's really just a support system for you. Like you're not out there alone working. And then we also have what we call writing bashes. Writing bashes came out of our peer working groups. And they kind of came and said, hey, can we just get together and write during like the breaks? I'm like, so you want us just to provide a room and you guys get together and write? I'm like, yeah, we can do that. You know, now it's kind of gone to Zoom, but the concept is just, again, it's students getting together. It's spring break, it's fall break. I try to only do them for like the first, like if it's a week-long break, I kind of said, let's just pull them together for 2 days. And then, you know, you also need to take a break and get away and step away from this stuff too, because sometimes looking at too much is just that, looking at too much. You need to get out, go for a walk, get some fresh air, do things like that. So we have the writing bashes. Typically, we do a back to school writing bash, we do a spring writing bash, and a fall break writing bash. We also work at the Writing Center. So when we do our boot camps, we often we'll invite different guests into, so like we'll bring Megan in, Megan Walters. We love her, she's great. She's always got great information to share with the students. We bring in the Writing Center. And the Writing Center, you know, when you come to, people say, well, when I come to a writing camp, am I going to learn how to write? Well, no, you're not going to learn how to write. We're there writing, we're working together. you can sit with a faculty consultant and, you know, say, I'm struggling with this part, I'm struggling with that, does this make sense? And kind of that type of thing. But if you're really like having difficulty with writing or kind of need something like on a regular basis to consult, I always say, go to the writing center. And for graduate students, you know, you want to go to them and you want to team up with someone who is a graduate student. And the best approach is to go in and kind of have someone that you're working with on a regular basis. And you find like your person there rather than, so you can work on a project or so that you're not going in and being like, oh, well, you know, and start all over from the beginning. You don't want to do that. That's a waste of your time. So you want to go in and consistently have one person that you're working with and that. And so you just tell them, I'm a graduate student. I'd like to set up with someone on a regular schedule or meet. Like I've got this project, or I've got this, you know, this paper, or I've got a different paper, but so you just want to make sure that you're setting it up so that you're using the most efficient part of your time and your writing stuff. So all of these lead into things like our 3-minute thesis. Our 3-minute thesis is a competition that happens in the spring. And it's, you know, how do you share your research with someone in 3 minutes? It's a competition and, you know, how do you share it in like a non, you know, like to the regular group, like how do you share it with people that are not from your field of study? And so I always say, I feel like every department should require every student to do a 3-minute thesis. Maybe not ours, but I feel like it's something that every student, every graduate student should have to do, because if you can't tell me and get me engaged in what you're doing in 3 minutes in your research or your creativity, I'm probably never going to get engaged in what you're doing. You know, so if you can't give me in 3 minutes, like, this is what I'm doing, this is why it's important, this is why it matters. You know, and I feel like that's important to like take it to funders. You know, you meet someone, you know, like, hey, what do you do? Well, if you can't capture my attention in 3 minutes, you're probably not going to capture it. So I'm always like, you know, I think I always applaud our students that do it, because I think it's hard. It's very difficult to get your stuff out in 3 minutes, but at the same time, I think it's a very valuable lesson. And actually, I remember one of our people that did it one year, he came into the competition, the preliminaries, got up there in the middle of everyone, was, you know, going through his presentation, all of a sudden lost his train of thought and he couldn't get it back. And he ended up walking out of the room and was like, I'm done, you know. The next year he came back and won it. So, I mean, part of it's just learning too. Part of it's putting yourself out there and putting yourself in that uncomfortable environment and getting through it, you know. And so I always like, I'm like, that's a great example of someone just kind of, you know, the first year bombed, next year came back and won it. We also do, like I said, the showcase, which is another good event. And that's just, it's, you know, you're in the room with everyone else and you've got about 15 minutes to present to the judges. But it's really about also meeting other students that are not in your own discipline, because it's a great opportunity to walk around, see what other people are doing. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, you're doing that and I'm doing this. Well, like if we like we kind of have a similar thing and I had no idea. And so it's really making those connections. So I think it's really important to, you know, to be out there and meeting other students. So if you're not in showcase, you should definitely be attending showcase. And then, you know, when we work with our writing camps, boot camps, we also do things like we have, like Kathy Hinton has put together kind of a whole lit review handout process that we share with our students during those writing camps. She also does things like reverse outlining, you know, so different tips and tricks about writing and things like that. So those are some of the things you'll also kind of be a part of in the writing camps. But that's kind of what I had to share. So I don't know if anyone has any questions or.
Yeah, if I'm going to send around an email to everyone, where, or if someone was interested in the things that you're talking about, is there like a hub where they can go and find all the information?
So everyone should be getting our newsletter. It should be, I mean, so like, for example, the registration for the 3-minute thesis is in the newsletter that we send out. The registration for the professional development workshop is in the newsletter. We also are having a writing group, like information session, which is kind of just a chance for people to just come on Zoom and say like, hey, a lot of people kind of say like, oh, I hear about these peer writing groups, I hear about these peer working groups, but what do you really do? So I'm gonna have some of our peer leaders on there. And so it's just an opportunity to come and ask questions. And I think that's like next week, Friday, I think it's at 1 o'clock. So it's the 10th at 1 o'clock. And that too is on in the newsletter. So I think most everything's in the newsletter. But then there's some writing resources on our current student website page. There's some different writing resources there. Yeah. I mean, I can get you the links, but they also, I mean, hopefully, I mean, our newsletter does go out to all the students now, whether they read it or not. That's another thing, but no, I mean, a lot of people saying like, oh, you're La Drew. Your email's La Drew. I'm like, yeah. Oh, I get your email and I read. I'm like, oh, that's good. I like to hear that.
You said that the 3-minute thesis is in the spring?
It's in the spring. It's in like April. Huh?
I thought it was too.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got them mixed up. You're right. 3-minute thesis is in the fall. Research showcases in the spring. Yes, you're right. You're right. So yeah, 3-minute thesis is like usually right before Thanksgiving, like November 4th, 10th, something like that, depending on the calendar. And then showcase will be April 4th this year.
Time to practice.
Well, you got to register by February 15th for showcase. And then you'll get your poster printed, and we have an online resource that's doing it for $10. Like sometimes these printing these posters is like $70. So they're doing it for $10 on campus. So
If you register by the 15th, when do you have to have your poster done?
it is not due until like, I think Jim's like, it's like March 30th. So like a couple of days, like a couple of days before. We always put the deadline a little early because there's always gonna be 1 or 2 people that say that like, oh, I've got my poster and can I get, but yeah.
They're gonna do the Weatherspoon again?
It's gonna be in the EUC in the Cone Ballroom this year.
Nice.
We did it last year at the Weatherspoon, which was unusual, and we did it outdoors. Because we just weren't sure of COVID. And so we did a completely different format last year where people submitted videos first. And then we reduced it down to like 30 finalists, I want to say. So it was a completely different format. So we didn't have everyone because we weren't sure where we were going to be with COVID. And so we're saying, let's bring the numbers down and let's also do it outside. So, which was kind of fun, but I mean, it was people were holding their posters in the wind.
Is there a number of people, like the maximum number that's gonna be?
There is, and it's like we're gonna keep it to about 75. So, well, so we actually had more than 30 register and submit, but we reduced that group down to 30 for the final. So there was a 2-step process last year where they had to create a video. We had judges judge the videos. Then we had 30 from those all those videos actually present at the end. So in the past, we, showcase has always been everyone, but again, but this year we're kind of, we're putting a shorter, like usually we've been up to like 100 sometimes.
Okay.
But, so we're saying about 75. So register now. That's it.
If anyone has any more questions, you can email Laura, but we should probably, we have one more important thing to talk about. Thank you so much for coming. Did you have?
Yeah.
Remind them it's being recorded, so they can read it, like now, this will be on the website too. Just 'cause it-
If you have to leave, because it is 5 o'clock right now, we will post the rest of the recording on the website, so you can go back and watch this, because we're going to be talking about the next funding window, which is important. So I'm just going to hop over the committee reports and listing, and we'll jump to the funding window. Then we'll go back.
Absolutely. Hey, everyone, hope everyone is doing okay. I know it's almost 5, no, it is 5 o'clock, so we're ready to go home.
Yeah.
But so just real quick, there is only gonna be one funding window this time. I know we had done 2 funding windows last semester. It turned into a lot of extra work. So it does appear that the 2-week funding window is gonna be better for everyone. So it is gonna start March 6th at 8 AM. It's gonna close March 17th at 5 PM. And we'll have the same, we'll do the research capstone funds with the RCF. It'll be up to $300. And then the professional development fund, again, will be up to that $500. Make sure with these that you only request as much as you actually need. So if there's any extra funding, that it can go to another graduate student as well to maximize as many people as possible. If you are going to a conference and you're trying to get the PDF fund for it, it must take place between January the 1st and June 30th. Right, yeah, June 30th, because of, that's just how the budget goes in fiscal year. Anything after that, is gone. So we want to make sure that we utilize all of the funds that we have. And in terms of the research capstone fund, one thing to remember, it is a request to buy an item. It can't be an actual reimbursement item. So your department has to get the request so that they can buy the item with your professor or whoever. And then, let's see, oh yes, so as before, it's first come, first serve. And it depends on application completeness and accuracy. So as long as the application is good, you completed everything as you were supposed to based on the directions, you're good to go. We are going to give priority to those that did not receive funding in the fall. I do believe that is the most fair way of doing it so that everyone has the opportunity to get funding. And then as always, only applications from a GSA represented department can apply for these. And you must also pay the activity fees to apply. So keep in mind that there are links and the videos are on our GSA page. So in the meantime, if you are attending a conference, you can start getting some of these documents together even prior and just wait on the other, like the receipts and things like that. But in terms of receipts, you must have at least have estimates if you have not attended yet. Any quick little questions? And then please feel free to email me at the GSA. I don't think the email is up there. Yes.
Receipts, do you mean like only the price of registering for the conference, or do you also include like travel? Could you elaborate?
So yes, for the receipts, typically if you haven't attended yet,
Can you repeat the question?
oh yes, she asked about receipts in terms of what needs to be on there, about registration and on flight information. So more information is on the GSA website, but as a whole, you need to have the registration is a must. You must have already registered for your conference prior, and then any other estimate. So if you're flying versus driving, those estimates, so that we can ensure that you're actually needing whatever you're requesting. And it's not just you're going to get refunded by your department and you're trying to double dip. So that we can try to, as I said, maximize. That's a great question. Thank you.
Those presenting, correct, and not just attending a conference.
So no, we're gonna just keep it, because honestly, not a lot of people did apply that were just attending. So we're just gonna have it that anyone who does apply, it is first come, first serve, but who did not receive funding, it will get priority. So attending and presenting. As I said, feel free to email me, and then I typically get back within 24 to 48 hours, depending on if it's on the weekend or not. That's it. And then, in terms of when you'll hear back, because the funding window closes on the 17th, to ensure that my finance committee and I have enough time to read through everything. The latest you will hear back is March 31st, right? Yeah, March 31st about if you were awarded or not.
Do we need to do community minutes?
Yeah.
We'll just email it out.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think we're gonna call it there because we're already past the time, but if you would like, we're going to be at Steel Hands, which is on Gate City Boulevard. If you're looking for some socialization, we're headed there now. So if you'd like to join us, go ahead and join us. If not, that's more than okay. I won't be offended. I just want to make sure, and I'm gonna leave it on this page. If you're interested in being added to our graduate student profile page, go ahead and complete this form. You can either get it through the QR, that just didn't feel right. The QR code right there, or also you can go to this link. But we just want to add you if you'd like to be added. So I'll leave it there. See you at Steel Hands or not, and if not, we'll see you next March. This coming March 2nd.
Because that's so funny, next March, a year from now. Bye, everyone.
Right, March 2nd, we're taking nominations, check the minutes. If you're interested in serving on the e-board next year, it's a really great opportunity. Nominate yourself, nominate your friend, nominate anyone that you think would be good in this role. Okay, goodbye, everyone. Thank you.